Welcome guys to another episode of Training and Advanced Stuff. I had started my detailing tutorials. Fortunately, the audios on the videos was very bad, so I had to try and undo a lot of things that I had done because I had saved the progress on the model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a side video on the detailing presets. When we talk about detailing presets, we're talking about making sure that your model is saved. You've also entered the title block information. You've also done your prefixes. You've done your prefixes. Either you modified them, or you changed them, or you created new ones. When you're talking about prefix, we're talking about the prefix that you use, let's say maybe for a beam assemble. By default, Advanced will just give you an A for an assemble when you're doing your drawing or when you're running your drawings. Let's say you want to be specific to say this is a beam assemble. You can use BA for beam assemble. You can use CA for column assemble. You can also use PL for PLT for plate, and PT for parts instead of just a P only. So those are things that we're talking about when you're talking about presets. And also, let's say when you got a couple of projects or phases in one project, and you want to make sure that on your PDF, on your file name, on your drawing name, you've got the drawing project name, project phase or section. I'll show you how to do all that. So for now, we're just going to jump into the detailing, and then I'll do that side video for you. So firstly, we just want to check whether I've numbered my model and everything is numbered. The material is also correct, and everything has been either, the coating has been done as well, whether it's painted or galvanized. So from that, we go to home, and then we go to Project Explorer, and then we go to Model Browser. Right. So as you can see, our material is correct, and everything has been painted except for this one that says coating as specified. Means that we did not specify the coating. So how do you change? So let's say maybe you've got a couple of these that you want to change material or the painting for, and you can't change them one by one because it's going to take time and it's tedious. What you do is you come here and on the model browser tab, and then you check this box that says edit properties, right? And then from there you just select, and then you see this drop down box, and then you can change to painted. Let's say you've got a couple of them that you need to change, right? Let's say you want to change from A7 to A14. So you select A7, right? And then hold Shift and then select A14. As you can see, it has highlighted them, and the drop down box is popped out. Then you can choose the material that you want to change to. So same as the coating as well. Select A7, right? And then hold Shift and select until where you want to change the material. As you can see, it also shows on the model, and then you can change to whether painted or galvanized, and then you pick that. So, but we're not going to change any of this. It's according to how we want it as well. So, and check that. So from here on, there are 2 ways, or rather 3 ways of doing a dimension, but I'm just going to try and bulldoze through 2 of the methods. So, for example, when you're doing a dimension or you want to run or produce your drawings, you can either produce your drawings from the tool palettes, or you go to output, and then you go to document, and then you use either drawing process manager or drawing styles manager, right? So drawing styles manager, this is basically specific, let's say specific drawings, 3D drawings, elevations, plans, and layouts. So if you click the plus button, as you can see, you've got 3D views with without labels, with labels, 3D view of selected components and all that. You've got elevations with labels, without labels as well, and sections as well. Then you've got your layout, you've got your base detail, you've got your floor plans, you've got your cold road, hot road, roof. So this is basically your layouts, your 3D views and all that. And then if you go to drawing process, this is where you find the commands for doing your assembles, running assembles, using your cameras, putting your cameras on drawing, single parts and other specific components depending on what you want to do. And then you've got the templates. This is for your bill of materials, drawing this, basically the other documentation that you need. Shipping list, approved drawings, and all that. You find it there. So there are two methods. Now, this method of using the drawing process, let's say you want to do assembles, right? The one disadvantage that I'll point out is that it picks up the prototype for you automatically. So if you've got a specific or a custom prototype that you want to use, there is another method of setting it up. But if you don't set it up, it's going to pick up the default prototype from Autodesk. Right. So for example, let's pick up these two beams, right? And then let's go. We want to run the assembles. We're not going to do the parts. We just want to run the assembles first. Or rather, let's isolate these two beams first so we can focus on them only. Right. To isolate them, we go to Advanced Tool Palette, and then we come to this tab, right? The quick views. Then we come to this one here that says show only selected assembles. Right. These are the only selected assembles that we want to focus on. Right, as you can see. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to select the component, minimize that one, go to drawing process, and then you can choose. Basically, the choice is yours, and it's simple and it's self-explanatory. As you can see, if you go to the first one, it says all assembles A3 to A1. A3 is the drawing size or the sheet size, and then single means that each sheet is going to have one assemble drawing, and then on that drawing it's going to have the bill of material. Like I said, it's self-explanatory. So I'm going to use assembles A1 single and bill of material. Right, that's what I'm going to use. Then drawing number, you can either start from 100 or from 1. It's all up to you. Then there's nothing else that you need to select from here. Then you press OK. So let's just wait for it to run the drawings. Then from there, right, the drawings have been created. You can either go to the drawing via Document Manager, then Details, then Update. As you can see, you've got two assemble drawings. And as you can see, you've got A for assemble and then A for the prefix that I mentioned before. So it did automatically as A. So we've got A7 and A18. Okay, then from there, let's say you want to change the prefix. Let's preview. And as you can see, you've got the assemble dimensions. Then on the bottom left, you've got the bill of material. Then on the bottom right, you've got the title block. Let's say you use this method and you notice that the title block is not the one that you want to use or the prototype. What you do is select all the drawings that you want to change. Right, change the prototype, and then go to change prototype, and then from here it's gonna take you to the folder where you've got all your prototypes. So as you can see, you've got a couple of prototypes that you can change to, and you can choose the one that you want to change to. So at the moment, I'm not going to change any prototype. I'm just going to cancel. Right, and then I'm going to open one drawing. Let's say we want to use the most complicated drawing between the two. That should be the D, right? They open the drawing. And then after that, we can close this tab. This is our drawing. this is our drawing. So as you can see, if it tried to dimension, but it didn't dimension the way I would want. It's not clean. So what I usually do is select one dimension, right click, and then say select similar, and then basically delete all the dimensions. You can keep some of the dimensions that you want, but I prefer to delete all the dimensions. Then from there, you can just clean up, just make it clean, make your model clean. We can't have, things crossing each other and labels crossing each other and all that, and labels within the drawing or the model. So you can just clean up, right, as far as you can. And as you can see, we've got a lot of space that is unutilized. So what you're going to do is we're just going to try and increase our scale. Right. To increase our scale, we've got the parent box, detail box or view box, and then you've got the specific view boxes, right? So if you want to change the scale of a specific view, you use the specific view box. But if you want to change the scale for the whole drawing, you go to the parent, right? Which is the main view box. Then you come here, we've got scale, let's change it to 5. And then clipping, it says automatic clipping, so let's leave it for now. All right, let's leave it and let's see how it goes. So yeah, it's now big enough, or if you want, you can even make it even much more bigger. It's up to you. Now, as you can see, we've got section A, right, which is that one there. And then on the other side, we've got the same section because we've got the same plates, the same cassette, and then same end plate, same configuration on both ends. And then we've got section B and section C. So in this case, I do not want section C, which is this one here. So in order to delete section C, you can do it in 2 methods. Either select the specific view box, the green one, and hit delete. That's option number 1. Or option number 2 is to select the main view box. As you can see here, it says every detail, you've got your views there. Then you go to preview. And then now you just open those and you just hit. So that's a section, right? So we select that section. Okay, it shows that that's section A. Section B, right? Section B we want, but we don't want section C. As you can see now, it is highlighted section C. Then we go to view state, then we say always off, and then okay. Right, it's gonna refresh, and then section C is gone. But at the same time, our clipping has changed as well. Right, our clipping has changed as well. Now let's take a look at section B. I would only want section B to show me this gusset only, not this gusset. Because if you check section B, it shows us gusset or plate or component P1035, which is P1035, of which P1035 is shown on section A, which is that one there, or P1035. So section B we need to remove and then create our own view. Right. So in order to create our own view, okay, I also selected that gusset bit. So let's say you've deleted and you've done a couple of commands, right? And you want to bring back these components that you deleted. You double click or you activate the specific view box, and then you come here where it says restore user erased parts. Right, and then you say okay. Right, it has brought back the gusset that you had accidentally deleted, which is now good. So in order to do a section on that middle gusset, right, we go to levels and dimension, and then we go to create top view, right? Activate the command, select the view, and then the point, And please always make sure that your auto is on. Always make sure that your auto is on, because if your auto is off, it's not going to create a true view that you want. So always make sure that your auto is on. Right. And then if you face yourself with where you've got this cut region, try and take your cut view after the cut region. Right. So from there, then I'm gonna pick another point down there, and then all the way to cover that gusset in the middle. Right. Then we've got our section there, but it comes out as section DD. So it becomes confusing. So since we've got section A on both ends, we can't have section D. So what we need to do is to update our section labeling, right? So to update this so that this can turn to section B instead of D, we go to parametric views. Then you go to this button here that says renumber cut views. Select it and select the label. As you can see, it has changed to from DD to BB, which is what we want. Now we've done our cut views and then we've got our sections that we want. What we now want is to at least enlarge this so that we can cover more space. We can utilize more space. So what we do, we need to change the cut length, how much has been removed from our symbol, from our drawing. So how do we do that? We go to the main view tab, and then we go to clip, and then under clip we go to option 2 that says how much should be kept on each side of the clipping area. So this is basically trial and error. You can say let's put 40, and then okay. All right, 40 is added some length, but we still got a lot of unused areas. So let's go back and keep the scale on 5, but add the clipping, let's say double it to 80. All right, so let's see what it's going to look like, this is now better. This is now better. Then from here, let's just try to arrange our views nicely. So what I usually like to do is do that so that I can arrange my views nicely. Then remove the line, delete the line, and then pick up this view as well. And auto off, then maybe put it at the top somewhere there, right? And then try to bring everything to the middle like that. Take this auto on, push it to the top, because we've got a lot of space in the top there, so let's utilize that. And then this one, bring it down there. Right, then you've got these section labels. Let's just push them up and then pull them in somewhere there. Select both of them, pull one up, pull one down, move command, and then we pull them in. Guys, remember all the AutoCAD commands are available in Advanced Store. It's basically AutoCAD. That's why it's easy to use. That's why Advanced Store is easy to use, especially if you've been using AutoCAD. Right. Then from here onwards, let's do our detailing. Let's put our dimensions. Right. So in Advanced Store, when you're putting your dimensions, you go to levels and dimensions and you use the parametric dimensions. So on the parametric dimensions, you've got linear sloped, you've got arc, angle, and radial. So we want to use linear, right? So as you can see, this says select view. So you need to select the view where you want to put your dimension. Now, how do you do that? You can simply just select any line from the view. Any line, whether it's the red line or the this other line, the outline, any line from that particular view. And then as you can see, say it's first point. So I'm going to dimension or detail these gaskets. So my first point is on the inside of the end plate to that corner of the gasket plate, right? And let's say I mistakenly pick this point and I pick my final point, right? For me to tell the system that this dimension line or dimension is complete, I need to hit enter, right? Now, I want to point out, you see this red circle here. This red circle is there to show you that your dimension is not at the correct point or is not picking up any point. And when you hit enter once, you're telling the system that you're done with this dimension line, but you're not yet done with the dimension command until you hit enter or space for the second time. So for example, let's say I don't hit enter for the second time, I hit escape. So I'm going to hit escape. You see what happens? The dimension disappeared because you do not complete the command. You do not complete the process. So in order to fully complete the process, you need to hit enter twice. Then your dimensions and all of your work that you would have done will not disappear. Because it's very frustrating to dimension and then the next thing you hit escape or you hit escape and then all the dimensions that you've done, they disappear. So let's do that again. Pick a point, pick the second point. So I'm going to put this somewhere there. And then I'm going to deliberately pick a point that is not supposed to be the one that I want. Then I'm going to hit enter, as you can see, then hit enter the second time to finish to close off the command, right? So let's say you've done this and you want to move this point, this dimension to there. You don't need to delete. You can simply select the dimension. As you can see, you've got the nodes. Then pick up the node, select, pick up the node, left click on the node, and then it's going to move. Then you put it there where you want it. And done, right? Then you can just move this so that they don't obstruct the dimension. So let's keep on adding our dimensions. So from there, pick that point. Then I'm on these stiffeners, I want to use running dimensions. I'll show you how to use running dimensions. Right, to that point. Hit enter. Then if you want to use or change the dimensions down, double click on the dimension. And then you come here where it says presentation. Under presentation, we want to use linear, relative, absolute. Then you've got our running dimensions. Then we just add the plate thickness. Right. Right. And we can just pull this down too far. Right. Then we do the overall beam, not the overall dimension, but the overall beam. Overall beam with end plates. Right. And then we do the overall assemble dimension. So I was taught how to do my dimensioning. It was through the yellow book. That's the South African standard. I think should be the Steel Detailer's Manual. It's a yellow book. So they said you dimensioning going outwards. So you start with the line with most dimensions. You go to the line with less dimensions. So as you can see, you start with the line with more dimensions. And the next line at the top should have less dimensions, and the next line less dimensions, and the next line one dimension. So you dimension going outwards. You don't start with a line with one dimension and then you go to a line with more dimensions. No, that's how we do it. You don't detail it down, but that's how I was taught. So you start with the line that has got a lot of dimensions, and then you go to less dimensions, and then you go to less until you've got one line that has got one dimension, which is to close off all the dimensions. So when you edit, right, all those dimensions in between, they go up to that's 4964, right? You add that one, right? Though this line, it goes to 4964, right? You add this line, it should go up to, it should give you 4988. So that's how I was taught my detailing, which is something that is should be common in the steel detailing industry with other guys who do training as well. So from there, let's detail the bottom one, bottom gusset, and from there, mind you, you want to give, you don't need to give too much information, but you need to give enough information for the boilermaker to assemble this thing, right? To assemble this thing. Since this is an assembly, you're gonna have drawings for the parts, but this is an assembly, so you don't want to give too much information. So, and also, if you give too much information, it's gonna take a lot of your time on your detail. So from there, I've picked up my first point, I'm gonna pick up my second point, which is the overall of that gusset, and then go to that. So you know that from that edge to there, we've got 2667, 2267, right? And from there, right, we go to the holes. Sometimes the angles between the bracings might be different, so you need to give them to the holes, and also you might as well give them to those edges, which is good as well. Then from there, from this side, go to the holes and to the edge, from the edge to that corner, and then to that corner, and then the oval, right? Then you can simply just move this down. And then this side as well. This side you can simply just give them the holes to start with. Right. If you see that the distances between the holes and this side as well, they are the same, it means that the angle in between is the same. As you can see also, they've got 80, 36, 198, 36, and 80 means that the angle is the same. Then from there onwards, we go to dimensional end plate. Right, so from the top to the hole, and to the hole to the edge of the plate, then the edge of the plate to that edge of the beam. Give that 6 mil gap for our welding bed. Or that's basically our welding bed where you put your welding. We're using 6 mil weld thickness, so we need that when you combine two parts or two components. So from there, uh, fine. So this part we are done. We go to the top view. Right. Apparently, advanced build does, however, not give you a label, whether it's the top view or it's the bottom view. It does not give you that. It just puts the view at the top. If it's the view from the bottom, it puts the view from the bottom. That's something that advanced build might need to take a look at. So for me, in order to then have proper labeling, I just put a text. Tedious, yes, I know, but you don't want to confuse the flavor so that they start asking themselves whether this is the top view or the bottom view. There, go A, go O, check for scale. Then if it's too big, select it, scale it down. Fine. Scale it down. Fine. So these are our top view. These are our label for the top view. We are done. Then we go to section 8A. Let's put our dimensioning. Top, no, eight, one. Then we are done. So dimensioning in advanced is pretty much simple. almost the same like dimension in the text. But insert, we need to show that it's at the center. You can either pick the center of the plate, or you can simply just use the thickness. Right. So let's say you want to add a dimension. Right. Let me undo this so you can see what I mean. Right. Let's say you've dimensioned like this, and you notice that now you want to use the thickness option. You don't need to delete the dimension. You just select, move the node to where you want it, and then come in on your labels and dimensions, come to parametric dimension, and you use this one that says insert point. Insert point, right? So invoke the command and then pick the point where you want to add the dimension. There you go. Then if you also want to delete as well, same thing. Delete point, select the dimension, and then enter, and you're done. If you want to add, as you can see, and then you are done. And that's how you do your detail. So let's also show the center for this one. Let's move this one off. Let's show the center. And we're going to use the plate thickness. Right, and then this one. Let's just make this a bit cleaner. Right, then from there, our detailing is done. Now, to mention this one, advanced still on its settings. As long as it's a diameter 22 hole, it will not label it. Therefore, you either need to put some text, some notes to say all holes unless otherwise stated or noted diameter 22. Because that, as you can see, the whole diameter is not labeled, right? But let's say if you want to insert the whole diameter, what you do is you come here where it says insert label, right? And then select the whole, and then put your, there you go. Then now you've got what? Your diameter 22. But if it's any diameter less than or above 22, Advanced Tool is going to automatically label it for you. It's going to automatically label it. So I suggest that you put some notes to say all holes diameter 22 unless otherwise noted or stated. Fine. And the other thing that I want to mention, depending on your drawing style, Advanced Tool does not label anything that is hidden. So for example, as you can see from there, we've got P1009, P1009, right? These are stiffeners. And if you come to the top view, right, you see you've got 6 of these, 3 on each side. And then if you go to the bill of material, right, you've got P1009, you've got 6 of them. So Advanced Tool doesn't label anything that is hidden unless and until you change it on the drawing styles, right? So in order to add a label there, what you need to do is you go to insert label, then you hit M for multiple. You hit M for multiple selection, M, enter, and then you can select, and then enter, and then you're done. Now, it has given you the part name and the description of the section. So we only want the part name only. So we select this, select, right click, go to advanced properties, and then you can either delete the part that you don't want like that, or let's say you deleted by mistake, right? You deleted by mistake. Just put your cursor and then go to token. Under token, you go to part name. So as you can see, you've got part number. You see, if you say part name, it gives you that. Select that. We want part number. Right, we want part number. Right, that's what we want. We want the part number. So the part number here has been added. So anything that is hidden, Advanced Tool doesn't label. So sometimes it's just good to label so that they know that, okay, on the top section, from the top section, we can see all the parts that we need. So this is our GTD. And also, let's say you want to add frame on your label. You want to add a frame on your label. What do you mean by frame? Right? Let me double click this, select that, and I'll add a frame like this. Right? You see how it comes out? It comes out with a frame like this. So let's say you want to do this for all of the labels. And what you do is select a label, right click, select similar. But you need to be careful so that you don't delete these titles by mistake. So you need to deselect the titles. Deselect section A title, deselect section B title. Right. And then from there, right click, and there are advanced properties. Because we have selected different labels with different text, it's not gonna give you the text there. So what you do is in the text box, just put your cursor, place your cursor, then hit Control A, that's for Control O, and then go to frame, and then pick the frame that you want. Right. If it does this, don't worry about anything, don't panic. Right. As you can see, the frame, the label is no longer there. What you need to do is you place your cursor inside the frame, and then you go to token. And then on the token, you go and you say part number. As you can see now, the part number, all the part numbers now have got frames. All the part numbers now have got frames. So you see this one is a diameter of the hole. Just need to add it or leave it. Since we know that this is all diameter 22, we don't need to add it back. So guys, this is how you do your detailing in advanced still. I hope you managed to follow and you can see the presentation as well. So guys, you can do your space management, you can do your dimensions, you can move any of these. Make sure that when a boiler maker receives a drawing like this, they can easily follow that, okay, to place this end plate, we need to measure 6 mils from the bottom of the beam, and then that's where our plate is going to be, and the 46 mil side of the plate is the one that's at the bottom. They need to see all those dimensions, and it has to be clear so that you don't cause confusions and downtime when the boilermaker has to constantly come to your office and check with you. So guys, this is how we do dimensioning in advanced though. So in the next episode, we're going to pick something else to dimension, maybe a rafter, maybe a column, and then the other episode that's going to come through, then we do our elevations, our general arrangements and all that. Thank you so much guys. Enjoy.